Now we're going to be looking at adding and subtracting rational functions. The biggest thing to remember is when adding and subtracting fractions is you have to have a common denominator. So we're going to use that concept to drive us. Now we've got squares and other things going on, so there's going to be some factoring and different things we're going to have to do. So the first step is to factor your denominators. We're going to need to figure out what the least common denominator is. So for instance, if we have 2/3 plus 5, 6, our least common denominator would be 6. So we don't have to change both of our denominators in this situation. We would just want to change this 3 to have a denominator of 6. In order to do that, we'd multiply top and bottom by 2. So here's where our next step is multiply each term, top and bottom, by the missing part. So this is really 3 times 2. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by 2. That would give us 4/6 plus 5/6. We should have the same denominators when we finish doing that, which we both have. Both of them are denominators of 6. The next thing is to add the numerators, so that's the tops. So we would add 4 plus 5, which would give us 9, and it's still 9/6 because we have 4/6 and another 5/6, so it'd give us 9 total sixths. You could reduce that, simplify it, which this would reduce to 3/2. Okay, so that's the idea. Remember, if you get stuck, always come back to a more simple problem that'll really give you the idea of what's going on. So that's all we're doing. We're just going to add some x's and crazy stuff in there. So the first thing we see here is we've got denominator of x plus 6, denominator of x plus 6. Our denominators are the same, so we can go ahead and just add or subtract their numerators. This one is subtraction, so my denominator is not going to change. Now we've got 2x minus 8. So we'll just have 2x minus 8. Everything in the numerator gets subtracted, but we only have one term. We want to factor and simplify just to make sure nothing reduces. So here, both of those have a common factor of 2. Take that out. We'd have 2x minus 4 over x plus 6. Nothing reduces, so this is your answer. And you want to leave it for me in that factored form. Okay, so when we look at this next example, the first thing again is we want to factor our denominators. We want to be able to very clearly see all the parts. On the second example, we've got a lot of different things going on. So if we look at this first term, or this second term, the denominator, we've got 3x squared plus 3x. Both of those have a common factor of 3x in them. That leaves me with x plus 3. This other one over here is 3x squared. Well, we see we have a 3x, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as 3x times x, so we can look at all the pieces that we have going on. So my first term, we have a 3x and an x. The second term, we have 3x and x plus 3. So if we're looking at the least common denominator, we want the least number of terms that gets all of those. So I'm just going to over here look at my LCD. We know it has to have a 3x in it. We know it has to have an x in it because this one doesn't have a plain x. So we've got a 3x, an x. This one has a 3x, which we've already used. And then it also has an x plus 3. So our least common denominator is going to be the culmination of all those things. Every piece has to have a 3x, an x, and an x plus 3. So we need to multiply each term by what's missing because we need all of our denominators to have all three parts. So this first part has a 3x and an x. It's missing the x plus 3. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by x plus 3. My second one has 3x and x plus 3. All it's missing is just the plain x. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by x. So we've kind of factored these out. Okay, so when I do that, we're going to make sure we distribute because this is 7 times x plus 3. So we've got, I'm just going to actually write it. So 7x plus 3. On the bottom, we've got 3x, x, and x plus 3. We're going to add to that. We've got x times x over 3x, the x, remember order doesn't matter, and the x plus 3. Okay, just that way you can see. So now both of my denominators are the exact same. So we need to go ahead and simplify and add together our numerators. So we'll have 7x plus 21 over 3x. I'm going to go ahead and say 3x times x is 3x squared, just to make it a little bit easier on us. X plus 3 plus x squared over 3x squared times x plus 3. Now we're going to add our tops together. So when we add our tops together, add our numerators, we'll have 7x plus 21 plus x squared. I'm going to rearrange that to standard form, so x squared plus 7x plus 21 over 3x squared times x plus 3. We need to check and see if we can factor this, so things that multiply to be 21 and add to be 7. Well, 21 and 1 won't add to be 7. 7 and 3 don't add to be 7, so this doesn't factor, which means this is just our final answer. Okay, the last example, we've got x plus 2 over 2x minus 2 minus negative 2x minus 1 over x squared plus 2x minus 3. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is factor our denominators. Both of these have a common factor of 2, so we'll take out the 2 and we'll be left with x minus 1. Here we want to multiply to be negative 3, add to be positive 2, so we've got x plus 3, x minus 1. Okay, so when we look at our LCD, want to go through everything that we have. So on the bottom we have a 2, an x minus 1. Here we have an x plus 3, so we're going to add that to the list. And then we have an x minus 1, so we don't need to add another one. Okay, so everything needs to have a 2, x minus 1, x plus 3. My first denominator is missing the x plus 3, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by x plus 3. Second one, we've got the x plus 3, x minus 1. All it's missing is the 2, so we're going to multiply top and bottom by 2. So we go through and rewrite this a little bit nicer. We've got x plus 3, x plus 2 over 2x plus 3, x minus 1 minus, we've got this 2 times all of that, so I'm going to rewrite it with the 2 in front, 2 times negative 2 x minus 1 over 2x plus 3 x minus 1. Okay, so now we need to double distribute and distribute over here. So as we go through and do this, you've got to be very careful to watch your signs. Remember, it's going to all work out to be beautiful in the end. So x times x is x squared. Then we'll have plus 2x and plus another 3x. So the plus 2x plus 3x will be plus 5x. 3 times 2 is 6. Then you come and you've got minus 2 times all of this. There are two ways of going about it. You can distribute the top and then distribute the negative to everything. For me, it's easier to change this to a plus and make this 2 up here a negative. Because remember, adding a negative and subtracting are the same thing. So I'm going to change this to a plus, and now I'm going to distribute the negative 2 to everything that's there. So this is still over to x plus 3, x minus 1. So then we'll add to that. Negative 2 times negative 2x will be 4x. Negative 2 times negative 1 would be plus 2 over the same denominator. Okay, so now we're going to combine like terms. So we've got x squared, and then we've got 5x plus 4x plus 9x, and then 6 and 2 would be plus 8 over 2x plus 3, x minus 1. Go ahead and check for factors. Multiplies to be 8, adds to be 9. Would be 8 and 1, so x plus 8, x plus 1 over 2, x plus 3, x minus 1. None of the terms are the exact same on top and bottom, so this will be your final answer. Biggest thing on these is you've got to pay very, very close attention to your signs and be very careful to show your work. You might have to use a lot of paper, but that's okay. You want to make sure you've done it correctly.